Hey, what's up everyone and welcome to Daily Code Buffer. In this video, we are going to see what is Spring Transaction and we'll create one example where we will demonstrate how to do Spring Transactions in Spring Boot. So let's get started. So when Spring Transactions come into picture, when you are doing multiple transactions, right, multiple inserts or multiple updates, and your business scenario is to complete all the operations together at a single shot, at that time this transaction management will comes in handy. So you doesn't want like if couple of inserts or couple of updates are been completed and there are still more couple of inserts or updates has to be completed, and at that time if any failure is there, then your entire transaction has to be rolled back. You don't want like half of the transaction is completed and half of the transaction is failed. Okay, so that is not the scenario that you want. At those particular moments, Spring Transactions comes in handy. So we will be creating a similar scenario over here. We will be inserting the employee data over here. So that employee will be having its employee name and the department to it, and the department details will have its department name, department ID and department code that will be saved into another table. If we are able to insert the data in both the tables, then only our transaction is successful. If there is issue in the middle of the transaction, then we should roll back the entire transaction. So that's what we will be trying to implement it today. So let's go to the computer and let's create the Spring Boot project. So here we'll go to the Spring Initializer. Here we'll give the group as Daily Code Buffer. And we will do Spring Transactional, and here I will give com.dailycodebuffer.transaction as a package name. We will be using packaging as jar, Java as 11. Okay, let's add the dependencies over here. I will add the web dependency over here so I can create the RESTful APIs. I will use the JPA dependency. I will use the Lombok, and I'll use the in-memory H2 database. You can use any of the database you want. So this is all what I need. Let's create the project and open in IntelliJ IDEA. Let's generate the project and I'll open this in IntelliJ IDEA. Okay, so this is my project and these are my resources. So here what I will do is I will create the controller layer, service layer, repository layer and the entities. I'll create the packages for it. I'll create the files and I will save the employee details with the department of it. Okay, so let's create the packages first. I'll create the package controller service repository entity, and I'll also create the view package. Okay, value objects. Now let's create the files. Okay, let's create the entities first. I'll create the entity class as employee and I'll create the department also. Let's add the employee. Okay, I will add the fields private long employee ID, private string, employee name, private string, email, and I will add private long department ID. This is my entity, so I will annotate this with entity annotation. Okay, and I'm using Lombok, so I will annotate with @data, and I'll also annotate with no args constructor and all args constructor. This employee ID will be my primary key, so I'll annotate with @ID, and I'll also use generated value strategy equals to generation type dot auto. Okay, my class is ready now. Let's add the properties in the department also. I'll add the properties private long department ID, private string, department name, private string, department code. Okay, I'll annotate this with @entity, and I'll also annotate with @data lombok with all args constructor and no args constructor. Okay, and @id as this is my primary key, and generated value strategy equals to generation type dot auto. So my two entity class is ready, employee and department. Now let's create the repository for it. Okay, so let's go and create employee repository. Employee repository as an interface. This will extends JPA repository, and this is of type employee and ID is of type long. I'll annotate this with @repository. I'll create the department as well. Department repository, this is interface. This will extends JPA repository. This is of type department and my ID is of type long. And I'll annotate this with @repository to make this as a repository layer. Now let's create the controller. Okay, I'll create the employee controller. I'll annotate this with @rest controller, and I'll create the method that will take the object which contains employee name and department, and we will save the data in the employee table and the department table separately. So to take the object, we will create the VO object. Okay, so let's just create the method public string save employee. So now let's create the VO that will take as the request body. Okay, in the VO we'll create the new Java class employee request VO will say. I'll annotate this with @data all args constructor no args constructor. Here we will add the fields that will be coming as a request body. Okay, so here I'm adding private string, employee name, private string, email, private string, department name. Okay, so these are the properties that will be sending from the request. So let's take this employee request view as the request body over here. Employee request view, and this will be my request body. Okay, and I'll map this method to post mapping of /employee. So whenever we will do post request for the /employee, we should be able to save our request. Okay, we should be able to save the data in employee table and the department table. So here we'll be needing the employee service. Okay, so let's create the service. So we'll create the new Java class employee service, and I'll annotate this with @service annotation. So now let's go back to the controller and let's use the employee service that we have created. Okay, we'll create the field private employee service, and we will auto wire it, and we will use this service. We'll use return employee service dot save employee, and we will pass the employee request VO. So now we need to create the employee service method into our employee service class. Okay, so let's create the method. The shortcut is Alt Enter, and you will see that there is an option to create the method. Okay, so just click on it and the method is created. Now here what you need is you need to use the employee repository and the department repository. Okay, so let's create the field over here. For that we'll do private employee repository and we'll auto-wire it, and we'll also create the private department repository and we'll auto-wire this same. From here what we have to do is we have to create the two objects, employee and department. We need to extract the information from the employee request view, create the departments, and we need to save the department database. We will be getting the department ID from it, and we need to save the department ID in our employee table as well. So let's do that logic over here. So we'll create the department object, equals to new department, and we need to add the information. Okay, so what we'll do department dot set department name, and here what we'll do employee request view dot get department name. Department ID will be auto generated and we can add the department code. Let's add the same department code what we are getting the department name. Okay, you can add the any different, or you can pass from the object also. Okay, department dot set department code, and we will add the same as department name. And now we can save the department. Okay, so what we'll do department repository dot save department. So here department is saved, but we want the department ID of this object. So what we'll take the department ID, we'll do get department ID from this object. So once this is saved into database, we will be getting the department ID. So we are getting the department ID from this object, and now we need to set this department ID into our employee object. So let's create the employee object. Here what we have to add is employee dot set employee name, and we can get the employee name from the employee request view. Same way for the employee dot set email, we can get from the employee request view dot get email. We can get employee dot set department ID, and the department ID is this one that we took from the object. Okay, department object. Okay, you can see that we set all the information in the employee. Now we can save the employee. So we can do employee repository dot save, and we can pass the employee over here. So now once this employee is saved, we can return the string. Okay, ID, and we can take the employee ID from the employee dot get employee ID. Get employee ID. Okay, this will give us the employee ID and we can return this. So this is just a simple method that we created. We have used the h2 over here. Okay, so let's add the h2 properties over here in our application.properties. Okay, we'll go to the application.properties and we will add the configuration for the h2. So these are all the properties related to the h2 that we use. Okay, we enable the console and we gave the database URL, driver class, username, password, and the database platform. Now I'll add one more configuration, that is server.port equals to 8083. Okay, so my application will be running on port 8083. So now let's start the server and hit from the postman, and we will save the department and employee into the database. We'll also go to the h2 console to check it. Okay, so let's run this. So you can see that our application is started. So let's go to the h2 console. Okay, to go to the h2 console, we'll go to the localhost 8083 /h2 console, and here we have to give the information. You can see that the JDBC URL, username, and everything is coming the same. We have to add the password and connect. So you can see that my department and employee table has been created, okay, using the JPA. Now let's go to the Postman. Let's open the Postman and we will hit from the Postman, okay. Here you can see that from our application, from the employee controller, you can see that our API is /employee and our application is running on port 8083. So on port 8083/employee, we need to pass the employee request, and the employee request view contains employee name, email and the department name, okay. So let's try to hit all those information. So we'll go to the Postman, we'll go to the body and we have employee name, department, we'll add the email as well. So these are the information. So once we pass this information, it will be converted into employee object and the department object. So let's run this and you can see that we got the information employee saved with the employee ID 2. So if you go and check into the console, you can see that the department is created. If you go to the employee, you can see that employee is also created, okay. So the entire transaction is successful, entire process is successful. Now let's see what will happen when we break the transaction at one point, okay. So let's go to IntelliJ IDEA again, let's go to the service layer, and what we will do is, once the department is saved at the half transaction, okay, we will try to break the application. So what I'm doing here is, instead of creating the object, I'm just doing null over here. So till here my application will be running smoothly, okay, my department object will be created, and after that at this point it will throw some exceptions and this will not be executed, okay. So let's see that. So let's run the application again. Okay, application is started. Now let's go to the console, let's refresh it, let's connect back. If you see the department, there is no data in the department, and if you see the employee, there is no data in the employee as well, okay. Now let's try to hit it from the Postman. So with the same information and the same URL, we'll try to hit it, and you can see that we got the error 500 internal server error. And we go to the console, you can see that we got the error null pointer exception because our object is null over here, okay. This is the exception we got. So till this point everything worked, okay. So that means my department should be saved, okay. So let's go to the H2 console and check. You can see if I run the employee, there is no employee, okay, employee is not saved. But if I go to the department, my department is saved, okay. So this is not what we want, correct, because at half through, if the transaction is not successful, if the entire request is not successful, I don't want to save the data. I need to roll back the entire transaction. And if everything is successful, then only I want to commit my data. So now let's go to the IntelliJ IDEA and we will use the @transactional annotation at the service layer and we will see the magic. So let's go to the IntelliJ IDEA, and what I will do is I will use the transactional annotation at the service layer, okay, because at this layer, at this point, my transaction is happening, right. I'm saving the data over here, I'm calling the repository of the department and employee repository, and this entire transaction has to be completed at one shot. So I'll use the @transactional annotation over here. So this method will be treated as a transactional. Spring internally will take care of all the commits, rollbacks and all the exception handling internally, okay. So if there is any exception, Spring will get to know and it will roll back the entire transaction, and if everything is successful, and it will commit the transaction. So this is the very simple way that I'm showing you over here. There are many other properties also available. You can create your own entity manager and you can use the transaction for that as well. So these are all high level topics that you can go through the documentation and you can use it. So this is the very conceptual thing that I'm showing you over here. So you will get to know how this transaction works and how you have to proceed in your applications, okay. Let's run this again, okay. So now our expectation should be, if anything is failing, there should not be any data saved in either of the tables. So you can see that my application is started. Let's go to the H2 console, let's connect back. Okay, let's see the department table, no data in the department table. Let's see the employee as well, there is no data in the employee as well. So now let's run from the Postman. We'll click on the send button and you can see that I got the internal server error. Let's go back to the H2 console, and if I see here, there is no data saved in the department table and there is no data saved in the employee table as well. So that means transaction management is been handled from Spring with the help of @transactional annotation. So you saw that this was a very easy @transactional annotation with Spring transactions. Okay, we just used @transactional annotation and everything worked perfectly fine, right? There are many other properties as well available. Okay, you can explore that as well. So that's it in this video, guys. If you have liked this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for the upcoming new videos. So that's all, guys. Stay happy, stay safe, happy coding, and I'll see you in the next video.